Hey, it's Cray.
Hey, I'm Matt the Red. Welcome to another pause in which we're going to do some talking.
It's August. The semester is starting, whether you're in college or high school or elementary school or middle school. School is a go.
It's starting, yeah.
But specifically, if you were in college, chances are you're moving to start school.
And traveling to a new place can be scary. So we thought we'd sit down this Saturday and pause with you to talk about the fears related to moving that we experienced when we first moved to Ohio, and then now we moved to Dallas.
With that being said, Matt and I have helpful tips for you because we are successful adults who
To some degree.
we're successful and we just have knowledge to share. At least I do. I've considered writing a book before.
So Cray and I have been married for 5 years as of this last July, which means if you do the math, we're currently 23. Backtrack that 5 years and you'll find out that we were 18 when we got married. Unlike most other people, that also means that we moved away. So some people might decide to get married young, have a family, do all that sort of stuff. We're like, no, we want to go to college and we want to move away and be married at the same time. So 18, how many months? 3 months, 2 months, 1 month after we got married?
Yeah, because we got married in July. We moved in August.
1 month after we got married, we said, okay, we're out of here.
See ya.
We moved to Cedarville, Ohio. I went to Cedarville University to get my bachelor's in biblical studies. And Cray,
I dropped out of college about a year and a half in, but that doesn't make me a failure. I know that.
when we moved to Ohio, the only thing that we had lined up was college. We didn't have jobs. We had a little bit of money saved up from our wedding. So I knew I was going to Cedarville, and Cray eventually wanted to go to Cedarville, but for that time in our life, she was going to Clark State Community College, which was like a 15-20 minute drive from our house, and we really didn't know what we were doing. I had never had a job to speak of in my life.
I was a babysitter.
Okay, so the fear that I experienced when we first moved to Ohio was basically a fear of being alone. So that fear had more to do before we got married. We had a pretty short engagement and got married within like 5 months, 6 months?
I think so.
Yeah, it was really fast. But part of that, not the biggest reason, but just something in the back of my mind. I don't even think Cray knew about this until today. I was afraid of being alone.
That's the only reason he married me.
Yep, that's it. Not afraid anymore.
When we moved to Ohio, right after we got married, I was scared that I was going to be homeless because we didn't have that much money.
You expressed that a lot.
Or I didn't have a job. And also I didn't even want to be in college. And I had a really good, close relationship with my family and my friends. And while I had Matt, I did not want to leave them. I thought we would be perfectly fine being married and going to college in Illinois.
Yeah. But not so for this guy, because I had a couple options when it came to the school that I needed to go to. I could either move up to Moody, which wasn't accredited, or going to Trinity, which I didn't apply for. And I really wanted to leave the state. So those weren't real options for me. So we moved.
Somehow we managed. So eventually we got over those random fears. His, I guess, wasn't really a fear because he had me.
I still don't like to be alone. I like friends.
Okay, anyway. So we pretty much got over our fears for the most part. We didn't go homeless. We found jobs.
I'm going homeless. We didn't become homeless.
we got jobs. We made friends. It took me a long time to make friends. I actually didn't make friends till I started working at Zales.
After Cedarville, after the 4 years that we spent there, and we kind of got over those initial fears, I think a lot of our fears subsided after the first couple of months. Honestly, we didn't have a lot of large fears, I would say, until our next transition in life. So I finished Cedarville, I got my degree, and I'm like, okay, now I want to go to seminary, which is, and I had chosen this. I didn't really have a lot of options in my mind. I picked one, I applied to one, I got really good scholarships for one, so I'm like, this is where I'm going. And that happened to be in Dallas, Texas. So I'm like, Cray, this is the plan. We're moving to Texas. And so I tried to convince her that right after I graduated, we were going to wait maybe a month, get our crap together, find jobs, and move.
As it turns out, Matthew over here doesn't really know how money works. And so he was like, we're just going to move to Texas and it's going to be fine and it's going to be no big deal. And I was like, I don't think you understand our bill situation because I don't think that that's how that works. So it took me a little bit, but I had to convince him that we could not afford, we did not have the means to just up and move and find a place to rent or find a house to buy. Eventually I convinced him. It took a while.
It turns out that expression that you just gotta trust God to provide sometimes means that it's not your timing isn't God's timing. Like, it's not just gonna work out. You want to move to Texas and all of a sudden you have infinite money to be able to move to the perfect house. It doesn't work like that. So we moved in basically to my mom's house. That's my tip for this video. If you want to succeed, move back in with your mom.
Move back home, which is what a lot of people with their bachelor's degree do.
True that.
So that's what we did. We moved back home. Yay! Jazz hands. Which is what neither of us really wanted, by the way.
No, neither of us really want to move back to Illinois. I mean, there were benefits, definitely. I had the time to intern. Craig got to go to her best friend's wedding. We got to exercise. We got healthier, despite my figure that looks even worse when I'm sitting down.
We get to save money. We have a lot of people to thank for us being able to move here, including ourselves and our perseverance.
Yep.
So
a lot of hard work.
Yeah, hard work. Even if moving home isn't what you want to do, sometimes it's what you have to do.
One thing that we learned in the process before we left Ohio was that buying or renting in Texas is expensive, and rent in a normal place in a decent part of Dallas would have been like over $1,000 a month easy, which was way more than we had paid when we were in Ohio. And neither of us had good enough paying jobs to be able to support that. So we're like, okay, that's not a possibility.
But we just didn't have enough to transition without jobs.
Right. And I didn't have a plan. If this shows anything about my personality, is that I have big dreams sometimes, and I don't have a lot of attention to the details. I have some plans, but my attention to detail is pretty small when it comes to things like this. I don't understand how my brain works entirely. Whatever. So that was the last year of our life. We decided, let's go home, let's save up money, let's both work 40-hour weeks, and hopefully at the end of that year be able to find a place in Texas.
And I never actually ended up working 40-hour weeks. I only got a part-time job.
Right.
Because I couldn't really find a full-time job, but that's Illinois for you.
And that's also, things don't always go the way you want them. Like, it would have been awesome to have a 40-hour week full-time job, but we couldn't find one for you.
I really did like the job I found, though. It was the first job that I actually enjoyed.
Good. Yeah, you didn't come home crying after your first day at Subway.
I didn't. I came home crying a lot when I lived in Ohio.
Right.
Not because I hated Ohio, I loved Ohio, but because I did not like my jobs in Ohio.
So we saved up some of our money while we were in Illinois, and because we were both working jobs, we were able to look more seriously at buying a house in Texas, or a condo, honestly, instead of
renting. Which is more cost effective.
Right.
If you can buy, you should always buy, because it's a little more complicated to like get done.
Right.
But it's a lot more cost effective than renting.
Yeah.
Even
Cheaper.
if it's a 1-bedroom condo.
Yeah, I mean, we take what we can get. We took what we could find, and it's nice. We really enjoy this
We really
place.
love it.
And we moved without job. Well, I have a job that can travel, but Craig did not. So
It took me a couple weeks to find a job, but I did find one. I found a really good one. I'm a nanny, which I enjoy. I really like it.
yeah. Sometimes with fear and moving and doing something new and adventurous, you just have to embrace the unknown. We don't know if Craig's going to have this job in a month.
Yeah. So while I really like my job and I really like the family I work for and work with, they might be moving an hour away. So they've put their house on the market. So they don't know when it's going to sell. They don't know when they can move, but they do know that they are moving.
Right.
So I could have this job for a month. I could have it for another 2 months. It really just depends.
While we have gotten over our initial fears, like when we moved to Texas this time, we didn't have any problem being afraid of being alone or being afraid of leaving our family behind. Like, it was sad.
Even though I didn't have a job, I wasn't even afraid of being homeless.
Right.
Because I owned my home.
And we love our family and friends back in Illinois, but at the same time, we weren't afraid this time to go do what we had already done with our lives in Ohio. We were ready for another part of the adventure.
We were ready, honestly, we were really ready for independence again. Like Matt said, we really do. We love and we cherish our families. We think they're amazing. But when you're away, when you move away and you live by yourself apart from your family for a long time, it's really hard to transition back into that life of honestly being a child again.
Yeah.
There are still things that I'm sure will come up that we don't know how to deal with or that we're scared of. But I think because we have done this before, we have moved before, I think we are better equipped to be able to handle those situations because we've had to handle situations in the past.
Right. I think so too. We're not pregnant. I think because of the experiences that we had in Ohio and even the experiences we're having now in Texas, we're more prepared to deal with whatever life throws our way. But maybe you're not. Maybe you're heading off to your first year out of state or 3 hours away from your parents or friends, whatever. This is for you. Like, yeah, fear is legitimate. We're not just trying to say you're not afraid. Clearly you are. You're not watching this video if you're just not afraid of anything. Like, you make the video if you're not afraid. But we want to give you the advice and the experience that we've got over the last 5 years to say, hey, it might be scary at first, but you'll get through it. If you're going somewhere alone, you'll find friends. There are people who are like you, and maybe that's not in your school. Maybe you have to go join a club or a church or something. You'll find somebody. Please don't join a cult.
For the people who aren't moving, whether you're just a senior in high school, junior in high school, freshman in high school,
You're in kindergarten.
and you're thinking, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? Where do I want to go? Who do I want to be? Don't be afraid. You will be afraid.
Be afraid. That's our conclusion. We're done here. Be afraid.
Be very, very afraid. So be afraid, but be okay with the fact that you're afraid. And maybe move away if it scares you. Don't be afraid to move away. Because in my experience, I know everybody wants to know about my experience.
Tell me about your experience.
In my experience, moving away was honestly the best thing that ever happened to me. I have grown more in these last 5 years than I ever did in the 18 years I lived in Abingdon, Illinois. Because being scared and embracing the fact that you're scared grows you. And if you don't want to move away, if you're comfortable where you're at and you're not even considering moving away, that's fine. Like, if that's okay. But if you're considering it, I think you should do it, because I do not think that you'll be disappointed at all. This coming from a person who was very scared 5 years ago that she was going to be homeless for the rest of her life. And look at me now. I have a husband, I have a house, and I have 6 cats.
Who knows? Maybe next month we'll be homeless. You know, we'll deal with that when it gets here. So if you're moving away, or you're going to move away at some point in your future, or if you're just afraid, maybe go ahead and share this video with someone else who is also afraid. Because I know the majority of the people in the world are afraid of the unknown, and they're afraid of leaving people, or afraid of being alone. And they want to know how to be prepared, and we're experts, and that's all I gotta say. So
the other thing that you could do is like this video and comment on this video and let us know what you're scared of, or if you just want more life advice from Cray
and Matt. And most importantly, this is the most important thing that you can do today. Nothing else in your life matters. Don't eat lunch, don't eat dinner, just click the subscribe button.
Also eat lunch and dinner, because lunch and dinner are really good.
Bye.